Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Jordyn and welcome to another crochet vlog. If you are new to my channel, I started this because I have a craft market coming up that I will be selling at, and I'm trying to build up my inventory for that event. My first two videos, in case you missed them, were first of all finishing up some whips that I had going, some projects that I was in the middle of that were kind of quick and easy to just finish up. My second vlog was all about smaller items that I was kind of testing out and that I knew I wanted to sell at the market but wasn't really that familiar with, so I was kind of getting to know my timing for those items, the materials, the pricing, all of that. And now in this video, I'm going to get back to my tried and true, my favorite item to make, cardigans. These are my bread and butter, my favorite thing to make, and I'm excited to get back into making some cardigans specifically for this market. I honestly have no idea what to expect in terms of selling cardigans because they do take a lot more time to make, obviously. They're a lot bigger than hats and gloves and keychains and scrunchies, so they will be more expensive, but I also think they're way more impressive and in a way will set me apart from other crochet artists and sellers that, I don't know, could potentially also be at the market. And unfortunately, because this is my first market, I have no idea how many cardigans will sell and therefore how many I should make and bring to the market. So I guess we'll just see how many I can make, obviously before the market gets here, but specifically over the next week or so, I want to see how many hexagon cardigans I can make. And I did stock up on some yarn for this. I have been meaning to get through my stash and make as many items from the yarn I already have before going out and buying new for everything for this market, but cardigans obviously take up so much yarn. It is important to have enough before starting a project in order to avoid having to go to the store and try to find matching yarn, possibly not being able to find it, or having dye lots that don't match. You know, a whole bunch of issues could happen. So I did stock up on some new yarn, but the good news is I did take advantage of some really good Michaels online deals happening. So I think I got this yarn for a really good price. And so if these cardigans do sell at the market, then it will definitely pay for the yarn over and over again that I'm using for these cardigans. Okay, let's talk about the yarn that I have in the cardigans that I want to make. So I do want to make adult-sized cardigans for the bulk of this video. In my first vlog, I made a hexagon cardigan out of ombre yarn in this coral color, and I love it. My ombre cardigans seem to be received well on social media, so I'm hoping that they're received well at the market as well. And so far I have picked up 2 other cakes of ombre yarn that I want to make cardigans out of to have a little bit of, I guess, an ombre cardigan collection. And the 2 colors that I currently have on deck are this one, Orchid, which is obviously like a lavender purple color, and then this one called Lagoon, which is kind of a teal blue. This is the Caron Cloud Cakes Perfect Phasing in a 4-weight. Very soft, and I do love how the ombre color comes out. Then I bought some Caron Big Cakes. This is a yarn that I've used before. I did make one hexagon cardigan for a friend of mine out of this neutral kind of self-striping yarn. And not only did I love the end result, but I also loved using this yarn. It's a little bit thicker than the yarn I was just showing, so I think it makes for a really cozy cardigan. And it comes in exactly as the name says, a really big cake. And I love the self-stripingness of it and the fact that one cake is 603 yards. For me, that was enough to make an entire cardigan out of just 2 cakes, which is really awesome. And I like that I don't have to switch between different colors of yarn in order to get that striped effect. So I was a really big fan of using this exact yarn for that cardigan, so I bought 2 more cakes of it. And this is in the colorway Sandy. And because I liked that yarn so much and how that cardigan came out, I did go ahead and buy 2 other colorways of the same Caron Big Cakes type of yarn, same weight and everything, but this one is the colorway Big Lake, and it's got some greens and some blues, which I think will look really nice in a cardigan. And then I wanted one more kind of neutral option, so I got this one in the colorway Chocolate. That's funny, but this is like darker browns, a lot more rich than that sandy color, but I think will look nice as more of a neutral tone cardigan. So that's what, 5 adult-sized cardigans already lined up and ready to go. So that's definitely enough to keep me busy for at least the next week. So instead of showing you more yarn and promising more, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and get started on those. If I have time and if I have, you know, leftover yarn, I do also want to make more child-sized cardigans, but that's also something that I can definitely make closer to the market. As of today, I think I'm actually exactly 1 month out from the market, which is exciting. And I do still feel like I have a good amount of time left to be stocking up on items, but I want to get some adult cardigans good to go, focus on children's cardigans secondarily if I have time. And yeah, that's what this vlog is going to be all about. So I'm going to get to crocheting and I will be back with some progress that I hopefully make soon once I have it. Okay, my friends, long time no talk. I do think it's been quite a while since I last came on here with an update. I actually think I might not have given any updates since the intro to this video. So I'm definitely due for an update because I have finished a lot of things. It's been about 2 weeks, maybe a little bit less than 2 weeks since the intro of this video. So keep that in mind as I show you all of this progress. I have been crocheting a lot and I'm pretty proud of what I have gotten done. So first things first, I did finish 3 ombre hexagon cardigans and I love how each of these colors turned out. They're very bright and vibrant and I just continue to love this yarn that I used for it. It is the Cardigan brand Perfect Phasing. I think they're called Cloud Cakes, and the ombre is just beautiful. The yarn is very soft. I have tried each of these cardigans on and took photos and everything. I will insert some of the videos here of me trying them on. And this time while making these 3 cardigans, I did go ahead and time myself because obviously I am making these to sell and I'm trying to really hone in on my timings for products and my pricing strategy. Not to say this isn't something that can change in the future. I fully expect it to. And you know, supply and demand that I experience at markets could also change my pricing for some specific items. For me, it works well to have like a formula and a logic behind pricing. That just makes it simple for me to figure out. And I also, I don't know, it instills a little bit of confidence in me to set prices that have that logic behind them. The very challenging part about making large items like this is that they get expensive really quickly when you start factoring in an hourly wage for your time crocheting. I think that's why a lot of people prefer to sell smaller crochet items and they stay away from selling the bigger ones because if you're going to price them fairly, they get expensive and there's not as much of a market for expensive handmade items. And so I will definitely be putting that to the test at this market. But okay, the time it takes me to crochet one of these ombre cardigans is about 8.5 hours. In case you are a fellow crocheter and you're interested or curious, the way that this yarn works up for me is that I make each sleeve with a hexagon and I end up connecting the top of the sleeve on the 20th row. And so for me, that takes about 4 hours per sleeve and then about a half hour to connect the 2 sleeves and do the border around the front and bottom of the cardigan. It is definitely an oversized item, which I love because for smaller bodies, you know, it's just cozier and looser, but then it does fit a variety of body types and can accommodate, you know, up to, I don't know, probably 2X, 3X, honestly. So if you were making this for yourself and you are smaller than that, then definitely you could make it more fitted to you and it would take less time. But I like just having the one flexible size available. So 8.5 hours per cardigan. Right now with my pricing strategy, I am doing $10 per hour of work. That is because I don't do this full time. I'm not trying to make a living off of this. It is a hobby, but $10 per hour makes the hobby, you know, kind of worth it. So $10 per hour puts that at $85. And then with materials on top of that, this takes about $30 in yarn. Each of the Cardigan cakes that I talked about costs $15 regular price, and this takes 2 of those with a little bit left over. So material cost $30 plus $10 per hour for 8.5 hours puts me at $115 per cardigan, which again is expensive, but I am comfortable with that price. I think that there are certainly people who will not be able to afford that, and that's okay. But from what I've seen online, I do think there are people who will be willing to pay for that. So I guess we'll find out if that is the case. And then my next update is that I have finished 2 of the other cardigans that I was wanting to make with the Cardigan big cakes. These also cost $15 each and 2 of them go into a cardigan. I showed you 3 different colorways and like I just said, I'm finished with 2 of them. So the first one is this dark brown variety. I love how this came out. I love the stripes. I love the richness of the brown, but also there's a lot of variation in here from very light to very dark. And I just think this looks very, very cozy. I also finished the green and blue colorway I love this one as well. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a green and blue girly as much as I am like a pink, orange, yellow person when it comes to like my favorite colors, but I do think this is beautiful. Again, I love how it worked up with the stripes. There's a little bit of kind of ombre here in the center of the sleeves, but then it goes to the striping. And then the way that these work out is each side is different. So, I mean, when you're wearing it, it's not perfectly symmetrical, but I think it's okay. I think it just gives it kind of a funky kind of vibe to it. This one is the same way. I'll see if I can kind of get this to show right on camera, but like the colors are not exactly the same on both sides, but they have the same colors throughout. So it's just a little bit unique, you know. I feel like it contributes to that homemade vibe, but in a nice way. So really happy with how both of these came out. And then I am just working on finishing up the third and final cardigan in this little collection right now, which is with this lighter, more neutral colorway where we've got more whites, tans, and light browns. This is one of my favorites. So just need to finish up the second skein for this one, and then I will have 6 full-sized adult cardigans ready to go for the market. And as far as pricing for these ones, so because this yarn is a little bit thicker, I can get away with doing fewer rows for these cardigans. So I end up connecting on row 17, and that actually does make quite a difference in the time it takes for me to make these striped cardigans compared to the ombre ones. If you think about it, like the inside first few rows that you do go really quickly because it's not a lot of stitches, but you add stitches with every row that you expand. So by the time you get to like the 18th, 19th, and 20th row, you're adding quite a bit of time onto what it takes to make the cardigan. So I have timed out that each of these striped cardigans takes me about 6.5 hours to make, about 3 hours per sleeve, and then again about a half hour to connect up the back and do the little border around. So with the same pricing formula, $30 in materials for the 2 cakes, and then $10 per hour for 6.5 hours means that I will be pricing these at $95. So kind of interesting that they do work out to be $20 cheaper than the ombre cardigans. They are a little bit smaller. They'll be, you know, a little bit more fitted, maybe a little bit less accommodating for larger sized bodies, but they still are pretty loose and forgiving, I think. But yeah, that's how this pricing is working out to be. So $95 for each of these striped cardigans, $115 for each of the ombre cardigans. And I'm just very happy and satisfied with what I've been able to get done in these couple weeks. After finishing this last cardigan, I am going to take a little break from the adult sized cardigans. I don't have any other yarn ready to go, I don't think. So in terms of my market prep and finishing up items, I will be pivoting to some other things over the next couple weeks. And then we will just see. I don't know. I have no frame of reference as to whether 6 adult-sized cardigans is too much to bring to a market. Like, will none of them sell because they're so expensive? Or will this be a busy enough market, and will these be enough of my kind of showpiece that they will sell and 6 won't be enough? I don't know. I keep going back and forth in my mind. So I'm just gonna have to go to the market and see how it goes. And of course, I will let you know afterwards. With that, I think that's all that I wanted to feature in this video. Hopefully it was entertaining and a little bit informative. I would love to hear which of my 6 cardigans in this video is your favorite. Let me know if you gravitate towards any of these colors or colorways the most. I think if I were picking of the ombre ones, it's probably this coral color because, like I said, I gravitate towards pinks in general. And then of the stripes, I think it's this lighter neutral one. That is my personal favorite, but I think they are all gorgeous and they're gonna look so good hung up in my booth. But let me know which is your favorite. And if none of these are your vibe, let me know what color cardigan you would be interested in. Look forward to another market booth prep video coming very soon. I have been collecting more items from Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace, and ordering some things online to spruce up my booth setup a little bit. So excited to show you that. And we're officially about 2 weeks away from the market itself. So getting very excited. Can't wait to continue vlogging and sharing the journey. But I think that is all I have. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in my next one.